Friends and family, thank you for joining me here at the American News Network with Chris Sanders, major news network on your apps and phones. It will be updated here just later on tonight. We have a war on our hands. Putin sends in 300 missiles, over 200 drones into the Ukraine. He's darkening it out. He's basically taken over everything. He's about 3 miles from the corridor where he needs to be. Belarus is also gearing up. They're gearing up for Poland and for Germany. NATO's all of a sudden saying it's got to be now or never. God intervenes. Well, so does gravity, and I'll tell you something. What happens that sometimes polydent doesn't work, or it's put on the stairwell and then you slip down the stairs and oh my goodness, polydent Pelosi has taken a fall. Just like Humpty Dumpty did as well, and Mitch McConnell would say it all, but there we go. So we got Polydent Pelosi, who's taken a fall, the old folks' home of the world, and Mitch McConnell, the turtle, and Thune from South Dakota will be sliding in there, but that's at least somebody that can talk to us, but we are in a conundrum right now. We've got Erdogan warning We have Erdogan warning Israel, and so is Russia. So this is scary times for us right here because we could be looking at something serious we don't know. But war is on the horizon, and Russia has been severely pissed off. And Polydent Pelosi did take a major fall. Now, she's tied into the shooter of United Healthcare. Did you know that he was going to go to court to testify against Pelosi for insider trading, and he gets killed and she takes a fall? There's something more here, like a transformer that meets the eye. I'm going to say this again so that all my fellow news journalists can dig even deeper. We have this Luigi, Mario Brothers guy that they dug up. By the way, he's got an identical twin. Screws in his neck, couldn't copulate, valedictorian. That's not the suspicious part. The suspicious part. Here, let me pull up something a little bit better while this is going on. The suspicious part is that the CEO was going to have to testify in court about insider trading against Pelosi. Okay, and then today Pelosi has a great fall. These are all maneuvers that would have taken her out of a court case. They could have unraveled a lot of stuff. I think combined with that and a pardon. Yeah. So as far as these pardons, we're also getting a lady getting pardoned that stole $54 million from one of the states. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. So they're stealing from the community left and right. So we have right now nukes in Belarus, and they're preparing something that is 5 times bigger than that for the United States. That's the Sarmat that you're seeing there behind me. But there is a big bromance going on between Putin and most of the countries. So we have Slovakia, Chechnya, everybody going on to the side of Putin right now. Well, because he's a man that backs up his word. He's got 24 years, almost a quarter of a century of taking the Soviet Union and the KGB out of the mire into a super country. And there are people that recognize that, like Lurashenko. But we have many of the Baltic states going back to Russia because they can see through the lies of Jackwagon Joe and the stability of Putin. And it's kind of hard not to see eye to eye with what they're seeing. We are a nightmare. and we're creating a nuclear nightmare for ourselves and the world. And as such, Putin has authorized a NATO nightmare to make it a reality. So he's now changed to Rushnik, where it's not just nuclear, so he could use them in close proximity so that he would not get killed himself. Now, I'm going to bring up some Chinese technology and all the orbs in the mothership here in just a little bit. Would you like to hear about that? Because everybody doesn't know what it is. I'm just letting you know that NATO is in the hot seat right now. So is America. We're getting surveillanced by China. Now, they could use and turn these drones into into direct energy weapons that could take us out and kill us. And how our government says, oh, we see these drones just like you, but they're no harm and we can't take them out. We don't know where they're coming from. Does that make you feel safe? It's kind of like, oh, we let this Chinese balloon come over our entire country and it's not doing any harm. No, that's complete malarkey. They're completely 3D topographical mapping us so that they can use artificial intelligence with the mothership and take us out with microwave oven technology, basically frying us. You want to see more about that technology? Oh, wait, there's more. So that's basically what we're, going to be seeing. But Putin saying to Trump, in the meantime, I'm going to take over the Ukraine. Now, Xi Jinping, though, wants to take over America. So there's two different things going on. But Xi Jinping is looking at a civil unrest revolt in China right now as well. That's what's helping us out. Russia is evacuating Syria completely. They're going to let them fight it out. And Iran said the same thing. So we have Iran saying, hey, let the Arabs and the Muslims duke it out amongst themselves. Why Benjamin Netanyahu wants to get involved in Syria, do the property grab, it's unbeknownst to me. I mean, why would a Jew want to do a property grab? That's not being Israeli. So, I mean, we have Starsky and Hutch coming in 37 days. So I hope. You never can tell. But we have these things that are happening. I remember when Fred Williamson, the Hammer, was sitting back there, the good old days. I was doing sound one time long ago with Cynthia Rothrock and Fred Williamson, and Cynthia and I, we drank this potion. Supposedly it would make us look younger. And you know what? I'll tell you something. I'm just glad that Starsky and Hutch are getting into office here together, because we need that kind of, sex appeal back in the White House. And I think everybody could tell that Jill Biden just couldn't resist herself and the charm of good old orange man, good with watermelon balls. It's obvious that the Bidens can't stand Kamala Harris and her husband. And, it's, so we saw basically Trump and we saw the Bidens in a church. And you know what they share in common that Kamala doesn't share with them? God. Yeah. So that's what they share that Kamala doesn't share. It would be the God factor, because she wouldn't, step foot in Notre Dame. And so because of that, we have Starsky and Hutch, and where two or more are gathered in his name, you have some attraction that the darkness cannot perceive. So those are just facts. And it's facts that Starsky and Hutch are putting together out for America right now. Now, yeah, it's amazing that certain things didn't happen the way they were going to happen. But Jelani was really wanting to make everything basically his own fight in Syria. And that's a very important thing for you to understand. And we have Israel pulling out of Lebanon, going into Syria, but they should really stay out of Syria. And Just like Isaiah 17 says, when Syria and Israel mix, there's a curse that happens. And the Lord God said that he would take away his cursing. The Slovakian prime minister is embracing President Trump, but nobody knows that President Trump is going to make it into office fast enough, because every day Jackwagon Joe throws something in there with Benjamin Netanyahu to screw up the world, or we don't know if we're going to make it. So again, in the news, we had Pelosi. She took a fall, just like Humpty Dumpty, out there in Germany and all, and down a marble, stairwell she went. And if it hasn't been one thing, it's been another for the Pelosi's. First, it was butt hammer incident with the husband, and now it's the marble staircase. And we're supposed to believe that California, a whole bunch of Mexican minorities and others would vote for an older, elderly Italian lady and older Jewish lady until they would die in office. That doesn't really seem believable to me. No, I think that the recall and then Larry Elder not winning the governorship was an eye-opener we should have examined further, much like a proctologist should. You got to see when there's some swelling going on there, the culprit on why we don't have the proper flow going on. And a good proctologist would see that we need a little bit more fiber down there, because there is a lot of crap going on down there that needs to be cleaned out. Swampy, you could say. And the world is falling apart, but Europe, again, is unifying against NATO, against the EU, and these are people that don't pay their bills, and they're scrambling like thunder to start World War III because they've got 37 days. And you're a day late and a dollar short. You can't do that. China and Russia are ready to go. So we are in a situation where now China and Russia, North Korea, they're all contemplating, should we take out America now? Now, I'm going to tell you, there's all these interesting threats as far as, what I said is Russia saying, hey, we can knock you out from Moscow in 8 to 10 minutes with our missiles everywhere. And what everybody is forgetting, because even these graphics are done, they're making this comparison as if Russia has to shoot this Oreshnik from deep Russia. That's not the case. He can shoot this Oreshnik from Kaliningrad and knock everybody off the map in pretty much 7 minutes flat. You heard me. Wake up, Europe. And that's if he hits you from Kaliningrad and not from a Russian submarine just 20 miles off your shore, I could say. He did also give this weapon to North Korean submarines, so Japan, Taiwan, heads up. He did also give this to Iranian submarines, so Israel heads up from the sea, because Iran wanted you to be warned by the skies. So if they say it's coming from the skies, it's coming from the seas. But it's coming, and they want to bring it before our general, our fearless new MacArthur General Patton. That would be my orange man good, my lion for America, before he can step in and save us. When our pride was out of control, back to the days when America became an abomination. That's what Obama did. He made us an abomination. He brought what is not acceptable to the Lord into the White House, followed by his predecessor, Jackwagon Joe, who turned our White House into a crack house. And the repercussions of the safety of the world can be seen from the streets of Gaza to the streets of the Ukraine to the pullout of Afghanistan, which was a pullout he should have happened and should have happened for his own mother or father when they were at stake here, we could say. Yeah. Holy cow, Jackwagon Joe is everywhere. Now, let's see what we're going to say. The Pentagon doesn't want us to know. They say everything is okay with these Chinese drones, and they've got no way in which they can prove on what it is or where it's coming from, and we should feel safe about all of that. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe with these people at all. All right, I'm going to get into something here just so you can see, and it's not about Mitch McConnell. I will let you see a little bit of a close-up on us to the world feeling a little bit safer, and that's the fact that we did have Nancy Pelosi take a little bit of a fall, proving that there should be term limitations and we shouldn't have senior citizens that are running our country. It's not necessarily a good thing for us. It's something that's hurting our country. Now, besides that fact that's going on, Zircon had another test. And so we have a Reshnik that's had a test, Mach 10, successful. Zircon had a test and successful. So we have an array of military craft that's being, taken around by Putin, and he is making it happen. And this is his friendly way of saying, this is what I'm going to take you out with, and we can't even defend ourselves against it. But again, that's not really what I want you to know. What I want you to know that he got 200 missiles that were slammed into him, and that's just a little bit of a touch of it. But we have got interesting things that are happening all the way around right now, and it's just amazing. All right, so give me a second here. I'm going to leave it with Jill Biden talking here just a little bit about, it's obvious to me that Jill is a fan of President Trump. She was dressed in red, and then she kind of blatantly, in my opinion, was making fun of Heels Up Harris. But thank you, Jill, and thank you, Dr. Biden. It must be tough all year, and thank you for your services. Woman of the Year, Dr. Biden, for covering for Jackwagon Joe so that we didn't fall into a catastrophe of Heels Up.
I don't know, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need we all need to feel joy now during this time of the season, during this time. So anyway, okay, now I'll start. You're all reading into that.
Social media went into a hysterical meltdown with this commentator saying, "Just in, Jill Biden is now openly mocking Kamala Harris's joy line. The audience even knows what's going on and breaks out into laughter. Anybody still think Jill Biden didn't vote for Trump?" This commentator doubled down, saying Jill Biden trolled Kamala Harris into oblivion today. "This is amazing. I feel the joy." The hilarious roast comes after Jill Biden was captured laughing and smiling along with her husband's supposed enemy, Donald Trump, during the reopening of the Notre Dame in France. And never one to be upstage, Donald Trump gave Jill Biden a taste of her.
What's up, YouTube? This is 2 Liter J.
All right, we're going to talk about the femininity of Chuck Schumer's wife here. Now, is it just me, or is it just like Bill Gates, where you could say, is that not just a little dude and a feminine guy? Could be, but we all have these kind of interesting opinions about things that are not normal, where there's a little bit of a transformer fact, where there's more than meets the eye here. But you can, you know, check out Iris. And this would be Chuck Schumer's wife. But it leads me into, wondering if Chuck ain't really Charlene. What do I mean? But I don't know if I'm the first person to think that Chuck Schumer might be a girl. Let's see here. Chuck might be a girl, according to me and to Trump. Let's hear this.
But the press is reporting the Democrats are starting to panic. They're panicking. They are panicking because, the votes that are coming in very, very strong a certain way. I won't tell you what way that is, but Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
Well, I mean, see, it's not just me that thinks that he's the feminine one. So we have a lot of interesting things going on, but this United Healthcare thing explained what I wanted you to get at. Was that he was supposed to testify, this guy, against Pelosi and this insider trading thing against some government officials, and he didn't get to make it because he was taken out. Meaning, is Luigi the real killer, or was he a patsy? And did they take him out to protect Pelosi? And then Pelosi, did she conveniently have a fall? Or is it just to protect her from a real wicked lawsuit in one of the top 12 companies in America? Oh yes, United Healthcare. This is number 8. And what if number 8, that company was doing insider trading with America? I'll give you an interesting statistic. We cost the most. We're ranked number 1 in fees. But in life expectancy, for some reason, we rank number 42. And then it's been exposed how a lot of people, let's say if you're diabetic, let's say if you need more stuff for a typical cause like cancer, that you're denied certain things or certain pain treatments. The onion gets deeper and deeper as we pull. However, the interesting fact is that he was supposed to testify about insider trading, and we know Pelosi's tied into it, and she was tied into something to be revealed. And he gets taken out. To me, that's a major story right there. That's something that we could investigate a little bit further. I'm just going to let you know it's major. Okay, and here we have Slovakia and other countries that are basically saying no to the Ukraine too. I'm going to read some testimony from the kid, the supposed patsy. United is the largest company in the United States by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, Walmart. Like I told you, it was number 8. It's grown and grown, but as our life expectancy? ? No, the reality is these indecipherables have gotten way too powerful and continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument, but many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal Moore, decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It's not an issue of. And the United States is the largest company in the United States by market cap, behind, and it goes on. A reminder, the United States has the number 1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly number 42 in life expectancy. To the feds, I'll keep this short because due to respect and do to your country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I'll state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. Spiral notebook, if present, has staggering notes and a to-do list that eliminates the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife and traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. And United Healthcare is the 8th largest company that we have here in the United States. On the other side of things, as far as people, we have Fannie Willis that's abused the law. We've had Alvin Bragg. He was asked the question. Even Mayor Eric Adams was asked, but Jack Smith, Fannie Willis, Alvin Bragg need to be prosecuted and thrown in a federal prison for 5 to even life. This is an abuse of the Constitution of the United States of America. It's an abuse of power, abuse of law. They were trying to rig the election, but by doing so, they violated the 24th and 25th Amendment. You see, America, we're allowed to have an election free from error, free from a tax or a poll tax, and they created that. And it's also free to have a state agency or a state, i.e. being the state of New York, or its district attorneys, interfere like they did, and as such made constitutional violations. Eric Adams is trying to weigh both sides, but he realized his party has damaged the town of New York, and they have these fraudulent cases where you can't even defend anybody that's in your town. Now, Cheney and Thompson, should they go to jail? Well, if you were to ask me, absolutely. That guy, this clown here behind me, needs to go to El Prison. He needs to go to prison, and so does Cheney. Yep, that would be this guy right here, Rep. Benny Thompson. So Benny Thompson for prison 2025, and same thing with Cheney. And that's our MAGA agenda, because the truth will come out and it needs to be exposed. These are things that we're going to be exposing. Doge, you want to help out? Well, then you could help us prosecute Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis, Jack Smith, for they've abused the Constitution of the United States of America, and we will not stand for that. My name is Chris Sanders. Hopefully people can join me as we enforce the truth, because we are a nation of love, and we have seen a nation of hate, and we've got to stop all of the hate that we are seeing, because that doesn't necessarily represent America. Now we have Syrian rebels. This could take a dangerous turn. Not only is Syria on the turn of a civil war, but so is China. And that's good for us, because China had its sights on the United States. And what's helping us out more than anything else is over 300 viruses have been released, but more of them are hitting China. We just need to shut the doors to China and not let them travel around the world and spread it, because have you noticed all of these diseases seem to come from China? I do. Alrighty. We've had some people stealing stuff here and there, but I want to give you a picture of some of these boats from China that are carrying these UFOs, these orbs that you're seeing. Are they weapons? Well, I'm going to say they are. Our government says don't worry, and I'm going to say you better worry. They told us not to worry about these balloons. You better worry. Heads up, news flash. These are drones and drone ships. Each one of these ships hold 500 plus drones, and supposedly people from both coasts were saying, yeah, I saw about 500 drones. So this baby here goes so fast, she's hitting about 40 miles per hour over the land. Who knows how many of them they've made. They're very invisible. I think they're cruising up the east and west coast and dropping them. This would be phase 2 of what they're doing out there. Okay, I'm going to show you phase one here in a little while. That came out last year. But they unveiled a stealth drone ship, and this thing is pretty rad, actually. But how many of them do they have? And even with 3 of them up and down the East Coast, that would be 1,500 drones out of this ship. So these are some technology things that I'm going to slowly let you see. And we're going to go on to what the motherships look like. See, everybody's so far behind. This is a mothership, this Chinese drone. And they've got several of them because I've seen the different size, class, dimensions. They've made them look like big yachts. They're not big yachts. But right here, this is what we're fighting. And why would China have these massive drone ships that are now hitting the West Coast and the East Coast? And so with everybody speculating, nope, this is it. It's the Zhao Haiyun. That was the first one. Zhao Haiyun, she looked like a normal ship. But this is a technology ship. And it's working with CubeSats in outer space. And those CubeSats are going to hit us with microwave oven technology. And they're going to fry us. They're going to fry us like a frog that's sitting in boiling water, slowly cooking. That's what these orbs are about. This is a weapon I'll show you even later on tonight. We were catching beams, catching down. So China has these motherships, just like that New Jersey guy said. This is the truth. Spread this. And just let your friends know, because people are acting clueless. They don't know what's up. This is a Chinese drone ship. It's working in tandem with Chinese satellites. They have a claw satellite, a clone satellite, a bomb satellite, so they can clone our satellites, throw all of our phones off, make it to where our missiles don't work. And see, then this is part of the takeover. It's not like you think. These are all high-end ships that are geared for something way different than you ever thought of before. And this is China when they launched the first intelligent AI mothership for drones. Then they started getting into catamarans and different sort of type of things and vehicles like I just showed you. Now, what is this working with? Why are they collecting this 3D information? It's for CubeSat technology. These are those little bitty microwave ovens. The war is going to be up in space, so they invented a claw satellite that you're seeing here behind me. They said they invented it to move their satellites when they're dying into other areas. Well, after they moved theirs, they started moving Australia's, then Vietnam's, and pretty soon Uncle Sam's, and pretty soon what we need to move our ICBMs and all of our war weaponry. This is not what they're telling you. This is the war out there. You wake up, your phones don't work. This is why. Then they have a clone satellite, so we don't even know if we're using our satellite or theirs. Then they have a way of bombing out our satellites by putting a bomb in our after thrusters with magnets. I'm not kidding you. And I'm going to show you all this technology here in just a second so you understand why these orbs are getting their topographical information. It's to work with the CubeSat satellites that are almost like the same altitude as a Starlink. They're smaller microwave ovens. They're working with an AI computing system 252 times faster than what we have. They've already blasted on Chinese media that they will give every Chinaman one of these American homes and just pick up our bodies. Don't you think that our media should pay attention to what China is saying? So they're saying, again, they're using these orbs, they're using these drones with the ships in connection with CubeSat technology. Now, this right here is the bomb, okay? It's that little green thing that you're seeing right there. And it goes right into the back of the after thruster. This is an actual reproduction of what it looks like. And this is the bomb. It goes into the after thruster. Then we can't see it because we're not doing surveillance, but we've already caught them doing this once. It sits in there, it shorts out, and guess what? Now we don't have a satellite working in outer space. It burns itself out, and we think that something natural happened, and they're going to be slowly taking out all of our stuff, or they have the ability to do this now. So they have a bomb that they put in the after thrusters. They have a claw satellite, a bomb satellite, and they have several space stations with these CubeSats that are like microwave ovens. So this is the war that's actively going on in outer space. It's like not what you're thinking. Now, we saw this on accident. Putin actually hit one of the Chinese satellites out using Iskandar. It hit in outer space, and then we saw this debris coming back into the atmosphere, and we didn't know what it was. UFO channels were picking it up, and what it was all the CubeSats burning up from the debris, getting hit like a shotgun blast. And we saw that coming back into the atmosphere. And so Putin has the ability to actually take this stuff out, but we don't. Now, the Iskandar is that awesome, so is the Sarmat. But only Putin has that technology where he can hit these Chinese, the ISS, all those systems out, because the Sarmat and the Iskandar are that powerful. We can't even rescue our people. Keep that in mind in the International Space Station today. So again, this is the way the war is looking. The Chinese have this it's a sneaky robotic type of thing going on. And I'm going to get into the Chinese Fractional Orbit Bombardment System. This is China's FOBS, if you need to look it up. The Chinese Fractional Orbitable Bombardment System. So they've already put nukes in outer space, and they're on a satellite hovering. It's just a matter of them falling into the sky. So they have CubeSats, and they already have hovering warheads. And this is part of the CubeSat technology of China. Now, Russia, they're being much more fair. They just have 9 different ICBMs that go all Mach 9 to 10 that can just blow us out of the sky or hit us from Russia or anywhere else. We are very far behind, being led by an old decrepit man that luckily had an arsenal that Trump built up before he got into office. China is testing their most dangerous space stuff out now. If Xi Jinping wasn't looking at a civil war, now why is he looking at a civil war? Well, he's a dictator. He was only supposed to stay in for 2 terms. He's on his 3rd term. The people of China have a problem with that. So do I. He's also banned religion, much like an antichrist. So we have the antichrist of Xi Jinping, of Zelensky and Netanyahu, draining America, down to nothing. I call Zelensky the Nikolai Carpathia of the Left Behind series. But these missiles are real, and they have our name on it. And we need to be worried. We need to be prepared. And China, Russia, and North Korea with Iran have their eyes set on us. Israel is very aggressively fighting about 10 nations. You could add 22 onto that with all the Arab nations. It's very nice and kind to see that the Ayatollah and all the Arab nations are saying, even as Trump has said, we need to just let Syria fight it out amongst themselves with the people that are from Syria. And that's my prayer. I want you to also know something beautiful happened. They freed all the women from the prison that were going to get killed. All the criminals that they thought that were criminals, they freed them. And so there's a lot of interesting stuff that happened. And I wanted you to know that. So we have footage of the Syrian rebels going into the prisons and freeing the prisoners. And this guy is just asking Israel and the United States to stay out of his war and let him in Syria decide who's going to lead Syria. And we need to do that. We don't need to be the police state of Syria or Lebanon or Israel. We can't even police ourselves. Let's get real. We have a war to fight here. It's the war of illegal aliens. I think we got about 30 million of them here, mostly men. So it's almost like an invisible army of 60 million souls. Jolani, he's got a civil war. Israel has a civil war. In America, we have a civil war. Now, the guy that built the Oreshnik has died. Oh yeah, he was murdered just within 6 hours. And they're speculating, was it Zelensky? It wasn't Zelensky, it was Hillary Clinton. I told you. She's out there, she's the best. We got the best hitman on it. And just the good old memory of Norm Macdonald had to be Hillary. And so he was taken out. And let that be a lesson to you, Kremlin. Nobody can get by Mrs. Clinton. She's probably the most scariest and deadliest hitman that we have. I think she's got maybe at least 50 plus underneath her belt. And, you know, whereas England has James Bond, we got Hillary Clinton. So all you people out there in the KGB, you better watch out. Or we'll send her after you. Just ask Bill. So there we go. Big head technology being taken out by a Russian missile expert murdered by America's top hitman, and that would be Senator Hillary Clinton. That Rodham. She stuck the Rodham to him, I'm telling you, to it. Don't get past me there. And, you know, so sometimes these scary people, and this was the scary scientist who designed these cruise missiles that are being used now. So again, evil is and evil knows evil does. And so when they had their scary scientists, well, we, you know, sent in our scary hitman. So Hillary, I wanted to thank you for taking him out. And Dr. Jill Biden, I wanted to thank you. You're the woman of the year to me for, you know, just taking over when we needed you. So, because we did need you there. And it was very obvious that we needed you there. For very many, many reasons. Okay, so Chinese drone ship, mothership, claw satellites, stuff that I wanted you to know about that. We've got MBS. Basically, he and Trump are basically trying to muster stuff out until he gets into office. But Jackwagon Joe is trying so hard with our military industrialization complex, with our weaponized media and our weaponized Department of Justice, to start World War III as fast as he can. So we have the war in Syria that started, and Syria is just asked to be left alone. I don't know if Jackwagon Joe will leave them alone. And at the same time, NATO's all of a sudden got all these guts. They want to get into war now with 37 days left to go, even though Trump's going to leave your ass out in the cold because you don't pay your bills. Why should we help you? If anything, you need to learn to love thy neighbor. Do unto others the way you want done to you. What did Putin all of a sudden do to you? Or is it just that you have 37 days left and you haven't paid your bills, NATO? Could that be the real truth of what's going on here? Because right now I want the world to know that we're loading up nuclear warheads in Poland. We're trying to move them to the Ukraine. And Putin has a natural problem with that. Well, who wouldn't? As soon as we give Zelensky 50 ATACMS, he uses them. And just the other day he used 6, and today 6 more. And so Putin responds with 300 missiles, 200 drones. And as I'm speaking now, Probably even since this show has gone on, he's probably hit him with another 100 missiles, because as I was putting the show together, we went from 200 to 300 missiles. The Ukraine's getting pommeled right as we're speaking. We're getting used by the Geritol crew, and that would be Speaker Johnson and His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu with Jackwagon Joe. They violated, the Speaker did Article 1, Section 9, Article 1, Section 10, granting a title of nobility, which is prohibited under the Constitution, and it's obvious that the lobbying has bribed all of our politicians so that we kiss Israel's butt and the Ukraine's butt way more than we do America's. And I have a problem with that. So does the world. They see it all. We have 37 days left. And with 37 days left, we have NATO talking about how they just all of a sudden need to go to war right now. Well, I don't see it. And I've got a problem with that. I'm praying for every single one of our families. That's what I'm doing. And I wanted you to know. We shouldn't go to war. We shouldn't believe in these warmongers. There's a new technology I wanted you to see real quickly. It's like an orb technology. So this technology that you're going to see is a new Chinese drone. It's something they're using as a cop. But it looks like a ball, and it goes into the water, and it goes onto the land. It takes 3D stuff, it does AI stuff, and I think it's part of what we're seeing. So we're seeing these balls in the air and in the land. This could be the Chinese drone. It's part of a war weapon that we're facing. So we're looking at sat-navs, we're looking at all these different things. And these are the war weapons that I'm trying to let you be aware of as we are coming into a new time. As far as Oreshnik, as far as all these things that are happening in outer space, this is a different war. This is going to be fought with direct energy weapons and satellites in connection. If you doubt me, these things also control the weather. But it's direct energy weapons in connection with viruses and colds. And China just released 300 new viruses into the world. We need to shut the borders and traveling down because we don't know what they have left and what they've just exposed us with in the world. And this is real stuff that we're looking at right now. So, again, the fractional orbit bombardment system is out there. It's been launched. These orbs that are in the sky, they are literally connected to motherships. I just showed you what those motherships look like. I'll show you the Zuhayan 2. This Zuhayan 2, again, was the first one, and then they made a series of these ships, and I believe then they replicated these ships to look like normal ships. These are the Chinese motherships. They started out holding 500 plus drones each. They're taking surveillance with us. I think eventually they could even use a direct energy weapon. When you see all these drones with navigational lights that are red and green, those are government, those are United States drones or United States vehicles. When you see things that don't have the red and green, then you see something that could be the enemies. I'm suggesting that they are all from China and Russia. And Russia doesn't have the same game plan. China has a game plan. It's called invasion, takeover. They're going to be using direct energy weapons and viruses to take out the United States. They're also going after Israel. So I believe our biggest enemy is China. I believe that Putin might be on our side, and he might be the saving grace for America and even Israel. Those are my thoughts. And this is China's new weapon for the world besides the 300 viruses that they just released. God bless you. Thank you for listening. We got 37 days left to be held hostage here together. Amen.